All right. Thank you for joining us today. This is going to be a fun little video. So I read a lot of the forums out there, and a lot of those forums are always asking individuals, how do you grade a card? What are you looking at for grading a card? Uh, just what's the whole process? So what I want to do real quick for you here is just briefly run through the process of identifying the cards that you want to grade, the different grading companies you can use, and really the packaging process to send your cards out. So first and foremost, just talk real quick about the grading companies. There are many, many, many grading companies out there that are available to use. The three main companies in the United States that are used are Beckett, as you can see. Zoom this so you can see it. Bring it closer. So the Beckett's encasing, very square. It's going to have your Beckett grading services on the back. It's going to have your imprint on the inside, patent number across the bottom. It puts your card inside of a sleeve inside of the case. So that is Beckett. CGC, some rounded edges, very sturdy, pressed together so you're not going to get anything in there. It's got some little diamonds down along the side to kind of keep it safe. These do not go in sleeves. They got little holders around the outside. You can do several things with CGC grades. It's going to give you a grade. You can get your subgrades, which is going to be your edges, your surface, things like that for an extra fee on that. And they also do error cards. On their error cards, it'll say error, and it'll kind of give a brief description of what the error is. Again, another CGC. This is one looking back. Two things. I wish I would have done the subgrades on it, and also probably wish I would have sent that one into PSA just because of the value of that potential card as a PSA grade. PSA does cards as well as full booster packs. The new full booster pack grading they do actually lays everything out flat. Traditionally, some of the old ones you see, so if you see them for sale, these tops and bottoms will be folded under. There's a lot of complaints about that. So they upgraded the process and they lay it all flat for you. PSA, great company. One of the things that I look at when I grade things is one, what are you grading it for? If you're grading it for your personal collection, I'd go CGC. CGC is great for me in personal collection just because the turnaround is 7 to 10 days from the time you box it, put it in the mail, send it out, they receive it and grade it and send it back. You're looking at 7, 10, maybe 12 days. PSA, on the other hand, you're looking at 30 plus days on baseline grading. There is some higher tiers that you can pay a premium and receive that back faster, but that's up to your discretion as you dig into the companies. You can look at it. I've never graded with Beckett. I actually got this card from a mystery box, so that's the example I have for Beckett. Look out on the table here, and kind of what you see in front of you is going to have some pre-cut square rectangles, pre-cut rectangles. I have my cards, a stack of rubber bands, I got my tape, got some bubble wrap, and boxes down on the floor. So first thing before you even want to get into putting a card up for grading is you want to look at that card or just pull one card, spool card out of a box. That way I can leave those where they are. So random card, but basically what you're looking at with the grading is you want to make sure it's a card that you want to get graded. Do you want to grade it for value? Do you want to grade it because it has sentimental value to you? Is it your first card you ever pulled, first card you ever traded for, something along that lines? Or is it truly worth money? As we know, there's some cards out there worth hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. If you got them, you grade them, you keep them safe, value increases on them. So one of the first things you're looking at on a card is going to be the edges. Make sure your edges are centered, left to right, top to bottom. You're going to look at if it's a hollow foil, not hollow foil, that there's no scratches or scrapes across it. Same thing on the back is going to be centering, left to right, top to bottom. You want those all to be even. The more even they are, the higher your grade is going to be. Also across the back, you're going to look for scratches and you're going to look for whitening along the edges. Now here you can kind of see on the corner here some little bit of whitening, so that has a potential to impact your grade. As you go up through, you're going to see some more whitening, more damage. The more whitening, more damage you see, the lower grades you're going to get. So again, Don't let the status of the card push you away from grading if it's something that is sentimental value to you. That is your decision. But if you are grading for value and profit, you want it to be as pristine and close to 10 as possible to really increase your opportunity to maximize that profit. So there are some resources out there on other YouTube videos. PSA itself has some grading criteria that you can look at your card and say, hey, I think it's going to be around this grade, and then send it in. So log into your choice of grading companies. For today, we're going to use PSA. Once you get into the PSA, create your account, do a submission that you want to submit your cards. I'm not going to go through that process because there is some personal information that you have to put in there, and I'm not going to edit that out. It's easier just to have you log on to there and see what that submission form looks like. It's a very straightforward form. It's going to ask for your card. One of the things you want to make sure you do is when you put a description on that card, it is an incredibly accurate description to the card, because they may penalize you and charge you for having to create or find that card description if it's not an accurate card description. CGC, in my opinion, has a better categorizing description section. You can put the card and the card number in, and it's going to pop straight up for you. You click it and move on. One of the things when you do the carding is you want to do a declared value of what the card is. This is where your research is going to come into consideration. Whatever you do to research your cards, whether it be TCG Player, price, charting, eBay, anything like that. When you put a card in, you want to do the declared value. That's going to help you in the long run with the protection once you mail it out, send it back in for the insurance. So you want to make sure that you have your insurance sorted out on these cards, because once you send them out, it's in somebody else's hands. Something to take into consideration, CGC does not insure your shipping packages or your received packages. So you put your cards in a box, put it in the mail to CGC. If something happens to it, unfortunately, you are 9 times out of 10 out of luck to get anything back on those cards. So we're going to jump right into this. One of the things to take into consideration again is when you put your cards in the description by whatever you decide to put them in there by. You're going to do a description of them. Get this zoomed in. Again, you're going to do your description of them. On your description, you want to be as detailed as possible. This is what's going to show up on your labels. You want to do your declared value. Your declared value is going to come into hand when you look at your pricing for what you're paying for or what you're going to be charged for. There are different tiers for charges on the price of the card. The higher the value of the card, the higher that you can be charged for grading that card. And again, your overall declared value is for the insurance. So don't freak out if you're over insuring your package, because again, it's just going to represent what you're sending to the company. So into what we got here in front of us again is going to be our very simple pre-cut cardboard rectangles. These are going to come in handy because when you package your cards, you want to follow the order that you have on your checklist. So from bottom to top, whatever is the bottom card on your checklist, and you're going to work your way up till you get to the top. Now, I just want to share what cards we are grading today, because once these cards come back, we'll come back through and look and see if we got very close on the grading or what do we think we're going to get. So one of the first cards we're sending in is a Mega Charizard EX. I did go through, looked at the card, had pretty good left to centering, top to bottom centering. The back was really nice. This was straight out of a box. It was actually the Battle Arena deck box. So sleeve straight into here. I'm not going to take it out and show it around because I want to keep that as safe as possible. So that's going to be our bottom card. Hoping to get a 9 or a 10 on that card. Put our next one down. Charizard EX came out of the same box. So again, straight out of the box, straight into a sleeve, straight into a card saver. Again, left to right, top to bottom, looked really good. No scratches on it. Hoping for a 9 to 10 on this one as well. That one goes next line up. Next we have And this, I believe this one was from the newer Japanese set. Really nice card. The quality control on the Japanese cards is just so far ahead of the American cards right now. I really like the layout of this card and just wanted to send that one in and get it graded because I think it's a really nice card. The Dragonite V with the alt art. There's a little bit left to right on this one. You can see that the left border is thinner than the right border. So I definitely don't think we'll get a 10 on this one. So I'm thinking an 8 to 9 on this one. But I want to send that one in because I love the artwork on this Dragonite. And last is the Charizard V. Again, this is just a really nice card. I have a Charizard collection. You kind of seen it. What we went through on our pre-cards is I support Charizard. I think it's a great card. And the majority of my graded collection is made up of Charizard. So I just want to add this into it. It is same thing, left to right. It's a little thicker on the left than the right. Top to bottom, pretty straight. Back looked great, no scratches on it. But that more than anything, just want to add to my collection. So once we get these all stacked in here, we'll get this zoomed back down in here so you can see it. When you follow the directions of what you want to do, you got your stack together. That's where your rubber bands come in. I suggest not using incredibly tight rubber bands because if they're too tight, it's going to compress your cardboard, which can compress your case, which can compress your card. So what you want to do is lightly put your rubber bands around your cardboard. This is going to help keep your cardboard in place, which is going to help your cards from sliding when they're being shipped. Now, just very basic, simple. Cards, cardboard, rubber bands. After that, we want to move on to our bubble wrap. So as we get into our bubble wrap, be very cautious. I've heard horror stories and seen where you put this first layer of bubble wrap on, wrap a piece of tape there to here and connect it. That tape sticks to everything inside of here, has the potential to completely ruin your cards. So your first layer here, just take it, roll it a couple times, get that bubble wrap around there. Move to our tape. Now that we got everything secured inside, we can run a piece of tape on the bubble wrap. Fold it over, get the rest of this taped in here. Don't get carried away on your band and your tapes and how secure you make this, because once you send it in, the company has to open this. The harder it is from open this, I think, any packages you receive, if it's over taped, over bound, too tight, there is potential to damage what's inside of here. And again, what you send in, it gets damaged in the process. Unfortunately, it's on you the majority of the time. So if you are going to send something of higher value, film it, make a record of it, stocking it up, shipping it out. If you have some incredibly high valued cards, go onto the site. A lot of times you can meet up with the company or a representative of the company to have that card graded without putting it in the mail and risking that. So those options are out there, which is fantastic for some individuals that have some of those higher value cards. Have some more bubble wrap around this. Apologize for the feedback. It's just part of the process of grading. There is no quiet way to rip tape and wrap bubble wrap. So, got your package all sorted out and ready. I got one additional rubber band here. I'm going to show you why that rubber band is important to me. So, showed you our breakdown on our list. We have some additional paperwork that I am not going to show on camera. You're going to receive 3 copies when you print out your order. It's going to say for this order here, PSA copy 1, PSA copy 2, and customer copy. The directions are that you want to put PSA copy 1 and PSA copy 2 inside of the box. And make sure that you put it inside of the box. Generally, you want to leave it on the outside of the bubble wrap so that when they open the box, they can look at your list, know what's secured inside of that package, and get an understanding of what they needed to open it so that they can make sure they're secure in your cards. All these companies that are grading your cards, at least the three that I mentioned, CGC, PSA, and Beckett, are very cautious, very careful on how they handle your boxes. I have had to reach out to them a couple times on some packages. Their customer support has been fantastic for me. I'm sure some people they might not have been, but I've never had any issues with them. So once you get all of your order sorted out and taken care of, you get your paperwork, PSA copy 1, PSA copy 2. You want to get those folded up. And put inside of your box. So, yeah, I used a rubber band to hold my paperwork in place so that when I put that in the box, I know it is attached to that paperwork. Find yourself a nice box. The smaller the box you use that fits that, again, we've all had packages come through the mail that have been smashed on the side, dented on the side, smashed on the top, stepped on, kicked, whatever. You've seen packages that have gone through a lot. And these are your valued cards. You want to make sure they are shipped securely and safely. So the better box you use for the size of the package you're putting in, the better off you will be. Inside of this box, you're going to package your product. If you see, like here, we have a lot of dead space, a lot of more room for bubble wrap and paper. I'm going to put additional bubble wrap and paper in here. It's going to get kind of loud, so bear with me for a minute. So we just want to make sure that the package you're putting in here moves as little as possible. Because the more that package moves, the higher risk you have of damaging your valuable cards. And if you wanted to damage your cards, you wouldn't be sending them in. So, get everything inside of the box. Get your box taped up, good and tight. Once your box is taped up good and tight, we'll go do our tape job here so you can see that this is, in fact, one of the things I recommend, having worked in many factories before it does boxes, is do the safety box tape on the corners. That's going to help your edges fall away and be secured so that you know this piece of tape is going to hold these two major flaps shut. Tuck that in, fold that down, and then put one more piece across the seam. It's going to keep that good and tight. Again, on the other side, if it's not secured on those edges, get that tape, secure those edges. We want to make sure that any open seam on this box has tape over it to protect the contents within it. So everything we have is inside of the box. One of the other things that would have been printed out with your submission form is a package label for PSA. For CGC, you receive a full shipping label that will get taped on here. For PSA, you need to do the address yourself and then attach the shipping label onto the box. Once you put it on the box, take it to the post office. Post office is going to ask you about the insurance. You're going to pay for the insurance there. CGC, you're going to put your label on the box. You're going to take that to a FedEx drop-off site. It's already going to be prepaid for. Give it to the FedEx drop-off site. They're going to ship it out. So, two different options you have there. Again, I've used both of those services. I've never used Beckett. So our box is secured. The label is going to go on here, and we're going to get this sent out. And we'll see you in about a month to see how these grades turn out. Thank you for joining us. Hope this helped you identify and figure out how to grade some of your cards and how easy the process is of securing these packages, getting them packaged up, and sending them out in the mail. Again, look at the sites, identify the value of the card, whatever site you use, figure out what the cost is going to be per card. Uh, CGC, PSA, and I'm sure Beckett offer bulk orders. One thing you take into consideration on the bulk orders, yeah, it's a lower price per card to send the bulk order in, but it's more cards. So you're looking at upwards of $600-700 on a bulk order for a lower per card cost. Where something along this lines, you're looking at, less than $25 per card to get it sent in, and you're only grading the cards that you know you want to grade for yourself. So good luck on your card grading. Hope this worked out for you. Hope it supports some of your drive to grade your cards and go out there and look at some of those graded cards. If you've graded some cards, let's hear what you've got. What's your best graded card? What's your worst experience? And what company do you use? Thank you all. Have a great day.